I'm sure many of you have been asked the question if a glass is half full or half empty to test whether you're an optimist or a pessimist. But what if you said it was half a glass of water? This most likely means you're a realist, someone who can understand the situation as it is and deal with it accordingly. Realists are usually able to mediate between the polar ends of optimism and pessimism, or good and bad. What is considered good and bad, and who decides that? Hi, my name is Owen, and I believe what many people commonly perceive as negative can actually be considered positive. Addressing my previous question, you decide what's negative and positive. It's all based on your own beliefs and experience. Only you know what's best for you. Maybe you think coronavirus has a negative impact by limiting human interaction, or maybe you think it's having a positive impact by reducing pollution. There are always two sides to a coin, and it's personal opinion that decides what side you are on. People's personal opinions are many and varied, and they play a big part in daily life. They can dictate simple things like what you eat for breakfast and when you go to sleep, but they can also play bigger parts you don't even think about. They can subconsciously affect one's mindset. The most common thing people assume about me is that my mindset is that of a pessimist. While they are not completely wrong, I believe my mindset is one of a realist, as mentioned earlier, someone who can incorporate both positive and negative thinking. If I were to place my mindset on a spectrum, it would be in the middle of pessimism and realism. Those who know me will also say that I'm usually really hard on myself and negative, but it's for a good reason. By being hard on myself, I expect less, even if I think I did good on something, and never get my hopes up. This helps me to reduce the impact if I end up messing up and doing bad. It's always good to prepare for the worst case scenario, especially in times like this, where the situation and outcome are going to be uncertain for a while. The coronavirus has been on everyone's minds recently. What's going to happen? When will we be able to go outside? Are we safe? It's good to have an open mindset when talking about these topics, as the state of the situation can change in a snap. Planning for the worst is the best way to ensure the least repercussions. The shelter in place has been pushed back to at least the end of May, but who's to say it might not extend for a few more months, or maybe until next year? It very well could. All this negative talk must be stressing you guys out. Speaking of which, stress and anxiety are a common feeling most of you have probably experienced. If you're asked whether you thought stress was good or bad, I'm confident all of you would say it's bad. But from my experience, it has been an important driving factor that helps me daily. When I was in 5th grade, every week on Thursday, we would get our graded classwork and homework back. While still at school, I would skim through all my work and check their grades. Then I would line up all the work so that any paper below an A was at the front. As soon as I got home, I would rush upstairs to my room while my dad was still parking the car. Quickly, I would grab out my below A papers from the front and hide them in a drawer. All the time, I would be stressing about what would happen if my parents found out I got one whole B. The horror. This whole facade had gone on for the entirety of 5th grade, every week, just like clockwork. My parents didn't have any idea about it until a few months after school ended and they were shredding papers. When they found out, I thought they were going to kill me, but they were actually really understanding about it. They just told me to learn from it and not to do it again. I stressed so much during that time, but I did generally nothing with it other than worry. After that all happened, I reflected and learned how to redirect my stress. Instead of stressing over nothing, I became a semi-perfectionist and used my stress to motivate me to do well. I would stress about not being good enough and make myself keep trying until the end, to the best of my ability, whether it be homework, classwork, or even art projects. I was able to turn my weakness into strength and have now grown into the person I am today. It's through these bad or negative experiences that we're able to learn and grow as people, expanding our views and beliefs. The reason why we as humans are the dominant species is because our ability to adapt. Being able to see all aspects of a situation, good and bad, and create the most possible benefits for yourself is what being a realist is all about. There are many things people commonly deem as bad, and it's up to society to break past these norms. By having a different point of view, we're able to deviate from the streamlined expectations of what's commonly perceived as good and bad. Only when we are able to break past society's expectations of what is good and bad can we grow and contribute to the ever-changing world. Now, I encourage you, whenever you see yourself in an unfortunate situation, think, what can I learn from this, and how can I make this better for myself? Thank you.